Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Lockdown Live here, exclusively on British Muslim TV, wherever you are watching this around the world. We hope you're safe, we hope you're at home and helping save lives. And as we heard just before the break from our guest, Dr. Qasim Ramzan, GP at the front line, these heroes, NHS heroes, are putting their lives on the line, and in many cases members of our community, of our faith community, are at the front line, and they are sacrificing their lives. They're shaheeds to this coronavirus, and they're doing that to help us contain this virus. And I suppose my plea to you, I don't really need to tell you because we are following the rules and guidance. Please continue to follow the government guidance. Social distancing, mosque and community centres are obviously closed. Stay at home, and inshallah, when we talk to my next guest, we'll be able to find out what opportunities there will be for you at home to get that spiritual connection with Ramadan. Because for me personally, Ramadan is a very special time because it gives me an opportunity to cut down on my workload, to spend time with my family and my friends and members of the community, to go to the masjid a lot more than you would do for Taraweeh and stuff like that. And we're not going to have any of that. We won't be able to do iftari get-togethers. And I think it's really important for all of us to do whatever we can to support the government, because in the end, they're doing this to protect us. Number is on your screen now, 01924 231 083. I did promise I would get the memorize this number by the end of this week. And so I promise you next week, I won't have to look at the piece of paper that tells me what the number is. Okay, and so my next guest is somebody who is a leading British Muslim scholar. He's active in cross-community work, fiqh issues, and giving people the education and the support and the guidance, not just on the coronavirus. And he actually published a comprehensive guide to deaths, ghusl and burials in regards to the coronavirus. His name is Sheikh Mohammed Omar. He's from Manchester. Let's give him a warm welcome. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you doing, my dear brother?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for joining us. You've travelled to Egypt, Mauritania, Morocco. You've written a number of books, and you're a visiting scholar in many university campuses up and down this country. Let's talk about the comprehensive guide that you did on deaths, ghusl and burials. Tell us, why did you feel a need to put that guidance out?
Well, the reason behind it was because there was a lot of distortion and a lot of confusion that was being spread within the Muslim community. This is unprecedented. We've never had such a situation like the coronavirus. We've never had a pandemic or an issue similar to this, within the last 40 to 50, 60 years. The Spanish flu was the last pandemic, which was really global. A lot of people were victims and died, due to it. 5% of the entire population of India died due to it. So what I found was that there was a lot of masail that people were looking at about how do we bury people when we cannot access and when we cannot touch the body, if the body is contagious. Because even till this day, the scientists and the medical information that is coming is changing every day. So from the early period, it was that you cannot do ghusl, and now we have guidance where as long as you have PPE, the right equipment, ghusl can be performed. But people wanted some religious justification. Can we close the massages? Should the massages close? What should we do? What shouldn't we do? So I thought I would present across the board, not from one specific sect, but from all the different Muslim scholars' views regarding it.
And that's a key point. This was endorsed by a number of communities and groups within the British Muslim community. So it was cross-community.
Yes, it was endorsed across the board. It was to give the religious justification, where in the Hadith, where in the Quran, not specifically the Quran, but the Hadith, where previous pandemics and plagues have affected the Muslims. What was the position? What did the Sahaba do? What did the early Muslims do? How did they behave to it? Why should we is obeying the government? For example, the government has made it very clear that we are not allowed to leave our houses, but only under certain circumstances. Fulfilling that is an obligation which the Usuliyun, the scholars of Usul al-Fiqh, have said that it's obligation to follow that law. It's obligation to follow that hukum, that ruling, even if it's from a non-Muslim ruler or non-Muslim country for the benefit of protecting the citizens. Why? Because usul, we have a principle which is that any form of harm to any human being is totally un-Islamic. It's haram to harm anyone. So by being by not controlling ourselves, by not staying at home, being locked down, we have a tendency that this could affect the people.
And I'm sorry for asking a really stupid question, but are all British Muslim mosques closed?
At this moment, all the masajids are closed because the government ordered it. Prior to the government's order in regards to the masajids not closing, only a handful of certain masajids, UK Islamic Mission should be given credit for closing their masajids. Gumgol Sharif in Central Mosque in Birmingham were one of the early ones before the government ordered the closure of all places of worship. Darul Uloom Qadiriya Jilani in London was another one. But again, unfortunately, this is one of those issues which I do believe, sadly, some of our scholars, some of our ulama, did not provide the real leadership and guidance to the public in regards to why we should close the mosque.
Because that was one of the criticisms, if you like, of the British Muslim Imams and scholars, that there was so much difference between people saying, no, we have to keep the mosque open, and those that said, no, we have to close. How do you bridge that divide amongst the ulama?
It's the epistemology of following a certain view, and this is the problem that we have. Fiqh will always change with time and place. Fatawa, the conditions of fatawa, the basic principles of giving a fatwa is the time and circumstances do affect the fatwa. So scholars should be able to come to a realization that scientific evidence, if it's provided, if information is given to us by medical experts, by the government, that's saying that we should stay at home, or we have to stay at home because this virus will be can spread in different forms, then we should adhere to that. And there's a hadith in Sahih Bukhari in which the first plague that affected the Muslims was during the leadership of Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, and this was in Syria. Umar had gone towards Syria with an army, and he was met by Abu Ubaidullah bin Jarrah radiallahu anhu, one of the great Sahaba who was called the Amin of this Ummah, and he was a leader in Syria, and he told Umar that a plague had spread in Syria. What do you want to do? And then Umar said to Abdullah ibn Abbas, call me the Muhajirun, the early Muslims. And he sought the advice, and they disagreed. Some said that you should go back, and others said stay. And Umar said go away. And then Umar turned around and eventually was given advice that he should leave and go back to Medina. And that's what Abu Ubaidullah bin Jarrah radiallahu anhu said to him, that are you leaving the decree from Allah? Are you leaving jihad? Are you moving away from Allah and going back to Medina? And that's when Abdurrahman ibn Auf came, another companion, and he said, I heard the Messenger of Allah say that when a pandemic, when a plague hits a certain area, you should not enter into an area, you should leave it, and if you are in that area, you should lock down yourself. And that's when Umar praised Allah and said, thank God we had that narration of hadith. So we can learn a great amount of wisdom from that early incident. And even Abu Ubaidullah bin Jarrah died as a result of that plague.
So let me just get this right for our viewers' sake. You are saying it's our Islamic duty to make sure we abide by the British government's instructions on staying at home and saving lives.
Yeah, I'm not going to get through the usuli issues, but Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayya, a very esteemed scholar, extremely knowledgeable scholar, he's released a fatwa in which he says that whichever country you live in, you have what we call a covenant of security. Conditions that are based upon a covenant of security is that you will obey the law of the land. If the government is saying to us that we should stay at home, if the government is saying to us we should close the masajids, we should close the schools, and this will definitely help with containing the virus, it becomes a fard upon us, fard al-ain, an individual obligation upon every Muslim to adhere to that guidance, and not adhering to it would be sinful.
Wow, that's really powerful. For our listeners and our viewers and people watching this across social media, it's really important to remember the powerful point that the Sheikh just made there, that it's fard upon us to make sure that we abide by this. Because in the end, Sheikh, the government is doing this to protect us, isn't it?
I mean, if from all people, if Boris Johnson or Prime Minister could get affected by the virus, it's not a conspiracy. It's not, it's been planted by the Chinese or the Americans or the Zionists and all this rubbish that you see on TV. We have to be people of aql. We have to be people of logic and look at what our scholars have said. And scholars, you have to understand, we're not closing the masajid because some say, oh, the masajid is the place of Allah, it's where you pray. This is a superficial, stupid question to say that this is a place. Yeah, we know the masajid is a place of worship, but where there's danger, you don't enter the masjid. Where there's a place where there's danger, the Prophet specifically said, stay at home. He said, lock down yourselves, do not enter into that area. Even Dar al-Ifta al-Misriya, which is the Dar al-Ifta, the fatwa organization in Egypt, represented by the Grand Mufti, even they give a fatwa. Even the Shia authorities, even the Saudi authorities, it's unanimous amongst the scholars that when we have such a pandemic like what we are facing at the moment, it becomes obligation upon us to cooperate with authorities in order to assist to contain this.
Yeah. So, Sheikh, I know you've agreed that we can take some calls, that people might want to put some questions to you directly. The number is on your screen now, 01924 231083 is our number, 01924 231083. If you want to put a question to the Honourable Sheikh Mohammed Omar, please pick up the phone now. Our lives are live. Our lives are in line with the government guidance on social isolating and staying at home. How does that sound, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah, very good, man.
Okay, so, and then the other thing is, you yourself are an imam, you're a sheikh. How's Ramadan going to be different this year for you?
I mean, we're all in khalwa, we're all in seclusion. Alhamdulillah.
I like that.
So, this is, in one sense, there's a great blessing in this. And, none of us have experienced situations like this. But we just got to reflect upon what's happening in Syria, what's happening in Yemen. People are going through even worse disastrous issues, and we have to have patience. At least here we get food, we get water, we get clothing.
Yeah.
We should be grateful to Allah for what we have, and we should spend the time in reading the Quran. We should spend our time in increasing our knowledge, reading, spending time. It's a great opportunity. Even though you want to kill yourself, kill members of your family, being so close to them, it can become a crazy place.
I never spent as much time with my family as I'm doing over these past few weeks, and I can certainly understand what you say there, but we're not advocating now we're killing anybody.
No.
You're speaking metaphorically about that. And just tell me, Sheikh, when you look out at the hatred that's directed towards mosques, the far-right narratives, the fact that so many British Muslims have been at the front line on the NHS, sacrificing their lives. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's really sad, man. It's really sad when you have negative people, bigoted people, who for whatever reason, these people will never change their views. But we should academically, we should positively challenge them. And I think what Muslims are doing on frontline key workers on the front line in the NHS, in the hospitals, doctors, surgeons. I mean, the first three senior surgeons that died due to the virus were all Muslims.
Yeah.
And they committed themselves to support humanity. This isn't an issue between Muslim and non-Muslim. It should be a human issue about coming together for decency for the people. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, either you are my brother in faith or my brother in humanity.
Okay, let's go to the calls. As I said, we're live on 01924 231083. Let's take our first call to you, Sheikh. Abdul, Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the programme.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
What would you like to say to the Sheikh or question?
Well, one of the things is that I agree with the Sheikh totally. We live in this country. We have to obey all the rules of law.
Yeah.
The law is enacted by the government to protect the individual. I'm an international human rights lawyer. I'm also an Islamic scholar as well.
MashaAllah.
Zindagi de vich sab to vadi cheez hai. Can you understand me?
We can, but our viewers come from many different cultures, so please let's stick to English.
Well, the thing is, I've lived in this country since 1956. We've always obeyed the rule of law, and this is important. The other thing is, Islam teaches us, the Holy Prophet, bless him, he taught us we must follow the law of the land, whichever country we live in, whether we like it or whether we don't. We can't follow our own individual, what we call way of thinking. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much, Brother Abdullah. As I said, the lines, I keep getting this wrong, but the lines are open on 01924 231083. Sheikh, the real sense is that we as Muslims are going to have to change the way we do things. So no more iftari parties and get-togethers. No more Taraweeh at the moment, as anticipated. We should have an announcement tomorrow that the lockdown will be extended for at least 3 weeks, which will take us into the first week of Ramadan. So no more Taraweeh. How are you catering for the students that you work with? And what's your advice to imams and mosques around this country as how they should cater for the spiritual and religious needs of Muslims?
Well, when the pandemic emerged, we had a meeting with Dar al-Ifta wal-Aqaid, which is a joint, which is across the board scholars from all different backgrounds, Sunni, Shia, Ikhwani, Deobandi, Wahhabi, whatever you want to call them, all different scholars. We met online. It was an online discussion we had, and we discussed about how we should provide guidance and what imams should do. One of the advice that we gave was that there should be virtual, what we call Jummah khutbah, that imams, wherever masajid they're in, they should virtually broadcast, live broadcast on whichever social media, the khutbah of Jum'ah, the speech. Obviously the prayer, you won't pray, you will just pray dhuhr by yourself at home, but you should listen to the khutbah. So that's one advice that we give.
Sorry, can I just ask this? So are you saying that people, because the government advice is that mosque imams can go to the mosque and deliver online service, so is it possible for Taraweeh to be delivered in the same way via Facebook Live and other platforms?
The predominant view amongst the Hanafis that this is not acceptable, it's not allowed at all. You have to physically be in the masjid. Some Shia scholars, and again this is disputed amongst them, have allowed it, a minority, and some others are debating it. But our advice to the Muslim generally is that you should pray your Taraweeh prayer at home. You should pray with your families. Make a habit of doing the adhan and doing jama'ah with your family, with your wife and your kids at home. Pray. Read the Quran together, has a community within your houses, and just seek Allah's forgiveness in during this month.
And can I ask you another question? Because I'm really grateful that you've joined us tonight, because you asking these questions. Let me ask you one more question. Can you read 4 rakat, or should you be reading 2? Which is the preferred method when you're reading your Taraweeh?
For Taraweeh generally, the view is that you should pray in 2 units. But if you want to pray 4, there's no prohibition. But it's preferable for people to pray in 2 units, and again you can read whatever verses of the Quran to make up the period.
Well, Sheikh, I've really enjoyed having you. Thank you so much. I know our viewers will take great benefit. Allah bless you and continue to pray for the Ummah, Sheikh.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for having me today.
Assalamu alaikum. Sheikh Mohammed Umar there, leading British Muslim scholar, talking about the role of mosque and imams as we head into Ramadan, and a really powerful point in the end, as actually you can't do Taraweeh in the mosque, but you could do it at home with your families and the children, have the azan and actually learn something